I guessed as much.
So, we need to rectify that. Had a complete day off the bike yesterday, which half explains why I've gained, you know, 1.5 kilos. Or at least I think I gained 1.5 kilos. It's mainly water weight, I can tell you that right now. Because I had the day off yesterday and I didn't watch what I ate as much, I just put on a little bit. So, believe it or not, rest days are actually the easiest days to watch what you eat, because you're not exercising. It's very easy to control your intake and stuff. So it's very easy to actually maintain a leveled energy balance. Okay guys, so for breakfast I've got half a tub of this, which is around about 20 grams of protein and 10 grams of carbs. This is actually like quite a low sugar yogurt as well, 4 grams of sugar. So there it is. We've got 1 serving of this. Really good ingredients in this one if you want to check them out. Oat flakes, just honey, there's no sugar or anything like that. They're pretty nice. And then I'm finishing off with SIS Performance Multivitamin, not sponsored.
So I've had a bit of a situation the last, since I had the first lot of team kit sent to me, because I don't really have a lot of it, hence why I'm riding in kind of old kit, which isn't ideal, I know, but what else am I supposed to wear really? I mean, I could wash my kit every day, but there's other things as well that's not quite right with it, like the shorts. The chamois not very comfortable, and the jersey, it's like the pockets are too small, so I can't actually ride with anything in them. So yeah, that's not ideal. So today we're going over the Gower. It's like a peninsula just off the coast of, well, Swansea, and I'm planning on doing a big sweet spot effort right now, because I've just finished my warm-up, which was 5 minutes of easy riding to get out of the town, and then 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, at kind of like 500 watts, and then obviously the 1 minute off is 0 watts, pretty much. So that's to kind of just give me a bit of a, you know, a bang, let's go type of thing. But now I'm about to start the bulk of my workload today in what is gonna be a very short ride. Weather's taking a bit of a turn for the worst. Luckily I finished the effort. I did just over an hour. It was like 1 hour 2 minutes. With an average power of, I think it was like 314. I run the Gower. It literally started raining like maybe the last 10 minutes. I thought I was going to make it back to the end of the loop, but before it started raining, but that didn't happen. Wow, did I feel good. I felt so good then, and well, words can't describe how good I felt. But that's not going to be the end. Hopefully I don't get cold. I've got a spare layer in my back pocket which I'm going to put on now. It's supposed to rain the rest of the morning, so I don't think I'm going to get out of this. I'm just going to have to dig in and get it done. But I'm going to ride now for maybe 10 minutes. It'll be a really short recovery section now, and then I'm going to go into a few hill efforts, which won't be really, they won't be specific. Oh, before I forget, I'm going to eat. I have my bar now. Hour and a half into the ride. I'm probably only going to ride for another half an hour, but in terms of overall energy balance, I'm just going to get this in so it adds up to my total calories of the day. Genuine question, boys and girls. What do you prefer? And see if we can get a little bit of discussion going in the comment section. But what do you prefer? Do you prefer intervals, like rides shorter than kind of 2 hours? You know, full of intervals, you're always doing stuff. Or do you prefer, like, you know, 2 hours plus, like longer rides with no intervals, or maybe just one interval? Let me know what you prefer, or what you seem to go better off. I'm really interested, because I'm just trying to be thinking the last 10 minutes. I can't really think of any rides where I've actually just ridden, like without any effort, all winter, which is kind of bizarre, because I always used to do kind of 4 or 5 hour rides without any effort in. Let me know.
Okay, let's catch up on what has happened today, because I've been pretty poor at documenting it. My bad. I will get better at this. It's very difficult when it comes to food, because obviously you want to eat the food and you want to document the food and you want to show you the food. By the time I've done all that, it's like the food's gone cold and the food isn't quite the food that it was when I prepped the food. Anyway, so after I left you, after I got back on the ride, I had that whey protein shake. To be honest, Wednesday is usually a write-off for me, because I take my granddad, who's like nearly 100 years of age, bless him, I take him out for fish and chips. It's in a fish and chip shop, but it's not, we don't actually have fish and chips, we have a cooked dinner. And I've been doing this since I was like 7 years of age. Like, I was tagging along back then, and now I drive him there and we have our dinner and stuff like that. So I kind of have to estimate the macros and stuff, the macronutrients. I have to kind of estimate the calories when I punch into MyFitnessPal. But it's a pretty good estimate. I mean, a vegetable is a vegetable at the end of the day, and turkey is turkey, so you can't really muck it up too much. But that was my lunch, and it tends to be pretty carb heavy, hence why I always come away from there and I feel really sleepy. So any of you who ever had like big amount of carbs, you will generally feel sleepy. That's just kind of like a side effect of carbohydrate. When I got home, I did a bunch of stuff going on, hence why Wednesday is always a write-off, because it kind of, I train in the morning, I go there, and then I come home in the afternoon, and I've just got stuff to do on the laptop. So next up is a snack. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, because it's the whole point of this. It is Easter. We're a little bit late to the party. I did have like a quarter of an Easter egg. I know it's not massive, but I treated myself to a quarter of an Easter egg. Now, ideally, if I was training again this evening, I would eat that Easter egg like within an hour of going out and doing a ride. But yeah, I just had a craving and I just had to have it, really. It's not a bad thing. We'll see what the scales say tomorrow, because at the end of the day, it's like the overall kind of picture, like how do you consume your macronutrients, how do you consume your calories, when do you consume them, it all plays a part. So that Easter egg treat might not even show up on that weight scale tomorrow morning. And then, because I was so busy and I did a little core routine, I did a little hamstring stretching routine, because I have quite tight hamstrings. I do a little bit of kettlebell work along with a stability ball as well, particularly for shoulder stabilization and mobility. When we talk about crashes and stuff, like we always talk about how the shoulder usually has the full impact of it. So just conscious of that when I do my stabilizing routine. So the calories burned from that is like negligible. So I don't really input that or anything. I don't count it towards my daily kind of calorie burn. But because I was so busy and I did that, I basically didn't eat then for like 3 hours. And my next meal was the meal I've just had, my evening meal, which was a salad. There was just some tomatoes, some cucumber, some lettuce, a little bit of mayonnaise to give it some wetness, and then I cooked up some chicken breast, obviously, because that would be the leanest source of protein as opposed to a chicken thigh or chicken drumstick or whatever. And that kind of like upped my protein. I don't know how many grams because I wasn't weighing it, I was just eyeballing it, but it's probably about 100 grams of cooked chicken breast and then 2 whole eggs. So I've got my fats, I've got a little bit of protein from the egg as well, and then obviously the chicken is my protein. But you're kind of wondering, like, well, where's the balance there? Like, where's the carbohydrate? Well, the whole idea is that you take a step back and you take a look at the big picture. And for me, like, having the Easter egg as my treat, it wasn't so bad then for me to like look at my evening meal and go, okay, well, we've had like a big chunk of like carbohydrate and fat right there in that Easter egg, and there's obviously no protein in it. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a hit and we'll just call that like our carbs and fat, and then we'll have kind of a little bit of healthy fat but mainly protein for that evening meal, and we'll just call it at that. So when you start to like look at it in a big picture and an overall thing, and it becomes a lot easier. And what I'm doing this next kind of week is I'm not eliminating foods as such. I'm being very flexible with what I eat and very mindful about what I eat. But it's just about kind of eliminating certain things and really eliminating their sizable quantity. So we're just bringing down that size to something that I can still eat but just not eat as much of. And this will just kind of tighten things up. It'll just make my body composition just a little bit better, bring my weight down gradually, hopefully, and we'll see where we are kind of coming out the other side of the weekend. By the way, guys, like, I know, you know, this nutrition thing is a touchy subject, but I'm not a nutritionist. I don't play one on the internet. This is just what I do, and you can take whatever you like. You can run with it. You can criticize. You can praise. You can do whatever. But it's just what I do, and I'm just showing you what I'm doing. So I appreciate it. If you've got any questions, obviously, like, punch them down below. If they're like if it's a fairly big question, obviously I'll try and make a separate video on it. But if it's something quite small, I'll reply back to you. But I'm just trying to kind of open, not a can of worms, but I'm just trying to open a little insight into what I do, something a little bit different.